Boat launches into the Rio Grande wildlife observation decks, improvements to the ABQ Biopark, all that and more are all part of ABQ the Plan. Now today we're going to focus on two parts of that plan, the Rio Grande Vision and ABQ the Biopark, with the guy in charge of all of it, Albuquerque Mayor R.J. Berry. Good morning, Mayor. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You had a meeting last week, a public session where people could go give their ideas for what they want to see at the ABQ Biopark. What ideas did they come up with?
Well, first master plan for the zoo since 1974, I think. So it's been since the 1990s when we really sat down and talked about the biopark, which is the #1 attraction in New Mexico.
In the whole state.
In the whole state. A great place for friends, family, visitors to come in and see. And it's a world-class facility. We want to make sure we keep it that way. We want to make sure we take excellent care of the animals. We have a scientific mission at the zoo through the ACA to make sure that we're doing a lot of the science side of it as well, but we also want it to be a place where you are attracted to. So that means you want to have fun, you want to have ease of access, you want to be able to get to and from. As you know, the zoo's on one side of Central, the biopark's on the other. We want to make sure people can get back and forth. You've got Tingley Beach in the middle. So folks are asking for lots of things. They love the food, of course. They love the animals. They'd like to see more exhibits, certainly. We've always talked about penguins and other things.
I was going to ask you, I want to see Happy Feet here. Is it a possibility?
There's actually two different kinds of penguin exhibits. One of them is kind of the frozen exhibit, which you've seen at certain zoos around the country. The other one is there's a species of a penguin that you don't have to do that with. That can actually stand our climate here. And apparently they're black and they're wearing their tuxedos like normal.
I've seen them at other zoos.
And so we're thinking about possibly doing that. But the point is, we want the input from the community. We've had over 2,400 responses. You can go to abqbiopark.gov or just go to cabq.gov.
Okay, we've got a link at casa.com.
Yeah, and you can find where to put your input. But tell us what you're thinking. But it certainly involves getting between the facilities, improving the facilities, improving the experience while you're at the facilities, and making sure that we continue to be a world-class zoo.
This aerial tram, I think they have one in San Diego. Still a possibility here to take you from the zoo over to the aquarium.
We've looked at that. We've looked at trolley systems. We're looking at other things right now. Of course, you can take the little train and go back and forth. You can almost walk faster than that.
Seriously, I race the train when I run down Tingley, and I can beat it. Another thing, you're talking about possibly some big changes to the Bosque. It's kind of a controversial idea. You had one meeting last fall. Some people showed up. They weren't too happy with the idea, and then you canceled the rest of the meetings. Are there going to be more? What's the status of this?
We didn't cancel. We postponed them. We actually had a biopark visioning a Bosque visioning process. So we asked the community and consultants to come up with anything you could think of. Of course, the things that we're going to actually do are everything that you've already seen there. We want to make sure you have access for those with disabilities, be able to bike and hike, stewardship opportunities, educational opportunities, a place to get a kayak or a paddleboard in and out, a little bit of decking in some of those areas around Central and where it crosses the river. But the point is that the plan itself is not going to be including everything that was in the visioning document. That was made for the purposes of having a citywide discussion. We certainly did, and a very robust one, and that was good.
So you will have more meetings in the future.
Absolutely.
On the Bosque.
Absolutely.
Okay. Real quick before we go, one question. Professor Nick Floor on Twitter wanted to know, you have a partnership between the city and the university's architecture department. He wanted to know if there's ever going to be one with the city and the tech department at the university helping UNM students.
What he's talking about is City Lab, and what we did about 2 years ago was we brought the university's architecture and planning school downtown. We rent the facility, they provide planning services back to us. It brings students downtown. Of course, we want the university to be engaged in our downtown as well. As we start to talk about Innovate Albuquerque, which is the First Baptist site, and we start turning that into a hub for technology, that is absolutely something we want to talk about, because we want it to be a place where you can commercialize research from the university or from the labs, but we also want it to be a place where students can come in, learn how to write code. I was in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. We know everybody there is learning how to write code. It's the wave of the future. We want to do more of it here. The whole IT thing with the University of New Mexico is a great idea, and that's actually part of our discussions right now.
Keep those smart young people in the Duke
City. Absolutely,
and
give them opportunities here.
Okay, one last quick question before you go. Very controversial. Talking a lot of it in Colorado and in Washington. Broncos or Seahawks?
Broncos in my house.
Broncos? All right, that a boy. Thank you, Mayor Berry. It's good to see you. All right, 8:23.